You can run, but you can't hide.
Everybody, I am so nervous, but welcome to the Healing Exchange podcast, where you have me, Jacquilla McFarley, and I have another guest with me, my very, very good friend. We are each other's healthy trigger, but my very, very wise friend who gives me advice that I do not want to follow, and it gets on my nerves, but I have to do it anyway because she be right. She be right. Just last night, she was right. So, Shantel Scott, welcome to my couch. Welcome to my couch. Featuring my mother. My mother's an audience of one. She's over there on the other side of the camera. But first, add me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook. Jacquilla McFarley. My name will be on the screen. Instagram. Jacquilla_MCF, TikTok at JaquillaMC, and click subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe under the Healing Exchange on YouTube. Thank you for listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and I am now on iHeartRadio. I just found out. So thank you. Now, we're talking about forgiveness. We're talking about forgiveness. Forgiving the unforgivable is what we're talking about. So, Shantel, first I want to ask, because we do have to get the what.
I have to write.
So first we're gonna write. I'm gonna ask you, what does forgiveness mean to you, or what? Yeah, what's the meaning in your perspective of forgiving or forgiveness?
For me, I think I can describe forgiveness as freedom. That was just one word, because I really was in a prison of just how I felt about everything. And you don't consider anything other than what you went through or your part in it. I think it's selfish. I think unforgiveness is selfish.
Okay.
I think forgiveness is freedom, and I think unforgiveness is selfish.
It's selfish. Selfish how? Like I'm only thinking about myself.
Yes, I think it's selfish because you're only thinking about yourself, and I think it's only selfish because you are holding yourself hostage. So
yeah.
It's selfish. It's self-destructive too.
Okay. Well, I had a little bit of a different definition, but it's the same thing. My friend be coming in here, and I should have gave my definition first. Same thing you pretty much said. It's what I've learned that forgiveness is to let go, no longer hold offenses, dismissing it, or like how you go to the court and they dismiss a case. That's a form of they forgive you, and and not bringing it back up. If you truly forgive somebody, you shouldn't bring it back up, or it shouldn't come back up when in an argument or the heat of the moment. That means if it does come back, I believe that you haven't really forgiven.
Well, I think sometimes it can, and it will. And sometimes it even needs to come back up.
How so?
Because what if I forgive you and I've made peace with it, but you haven't? And so I've kind of like, okay, I'm done. I done forgave. I don't want to talk about it. But this person needs closure, or this person needs to ask you a question about it. So sometimes it does have to come back up. For me, I will say, just backstory. Mine was with my mom. Whole backstory. Just a kid in the 80s, drugs.
Your mom or
my mom?
Okay.
Absent. So my brother and I, and then she had more. I think when I was 6, she had my sister, and then when I was 7, she had my brother, and then by the time we was 9, my mom was just like gone, and my grandfather ended up intervening. Well, my grandfather and his wife, grandparents, however you want to say that. And so it was a lot of unforgiveness to her. But again, it was a lot of not considering her. Yes, a lot of the things that we went through, absolutely we shouldn't have gone through. But when I look back at her life, she was a 17-year-old girl. She was a 17-year-old girl with 2 kids. Like, she had me at 17. Not to mention by my dad, who was not the I guess the nicest person to her. Well, I won't even say to her, because from what I know, he really loved her. Like, she was his pick. I'll say that. But my dad ended up killing somebody and going to prison, like, when I was really young. Over
toddler or
no, like couple of weeks.
Couple of
months. Yeah, like ended up she was trying to date somebody else or whatever the case was, so he done killed her little boyfriend. Wow. And yeah.
It was a baby.
So I was a baby. So my dad, the first 10 years of my dad's life, he was in prison. Now the funny thing is, because we always went to see him, I always considered like my dad was in my life. And I gave him this grace that I didn't give my mom.
Why?
I don't know. I literally think about it. I just started thinking about it the other day because I have teenagers, and so they trigger me because it's like, again, no, it's real. Because they have an expectation of me that they don't have of their dad.
So it's happening.
So I kind of like, I think about it. I did the same thing. Like, I wanted my mom to get her crap together. It was always my mom could do this, or my mom could do that, or I wanted this kind of mama, or I wanted that kind of mama. And I didn't know her life. Like, I didn't know her story. I didn't know her life. I just knew what I wanted, and then I started to project all of that on her. I was mean to her. I felt like I was her mom. I felt like I was her sister, and then at times I felt like I was her mom. I felt like I was always trying to save her. I just felt like I was like, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because growing up, I felt like everybody talked about her. Like, my mama was the mama. Now, she took care of everybody, but she was talked about in a sense that if she left us over here, we was gonna be here for a couple of days. So my auntie, she don't pick these kids up, that kind of stuff. She just running the streets and leaving her kids everywhere. And so I felt like I needed to defend her. So I grew up feeling like I needed to cover for her or defend her. And it got weary when I felt, it got draining. When I felt like she should have been, now you need to do better. Like, okay, now you, so when I was 13, she had her last baby, which was my little sister, my youngest sister. And I just felt like you should do something different. She was clean and she was healthy and she was doing good. And I just really thought, and so every time it was kind of like a disappointment to me. But we don't, again, not considering. This lady done saw somebody get killed in front of her.
Yeah.
She done experienced, the 80s with the drugs and the crack and the addiction, and she's still functioning, and she still go to work every day, and she's, doing what she has to do, but not to my standard, because she's my mama and I want my mama to be doing, you know what I'm saying? So it was rough. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't until she died that so she got killed. She got killed in, I think, 2007.
And you were, well, you weren't there.
I weren't there, but I came. So my sister's kid's father or my sister baby daddy,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, shot and killed my mom. And so I came when it like right after it happened. My grandfather called and he was like pleading for me to go over there because he was getting called that something had happened. And I just was fussing my normal self. I'm not going. I I don't know what's going on. I don't care. I'm home with my kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was like something from a movie.
Did you see her?
I
Or they
didn't
had
see her
already-
because they had her covered up.
Oh,
And then
okay.
her neighbor was like covered up. And then like in the back, they was like my
Multiple
sister and my
shootings.
cousin. Yeah, he shot my sister as well. So I mean, I didn't see my sister. But people kept saying your sister is back there. So when we started walking, they stopped us from seeing my sister. But we had got to the point where we were able to get to my mom's porch and like.
So you had 3 murders in that house.
No, she was the only one that got killed. He shot her neighbor, and then he shot my sister.
Okay.
And
But your
then
mom
he
was the
killed
only
my
one.
mom was the only one that died. He killed himself like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks,
after
a
that.
week or 2 weeks later. He killed himself.
So after you lost your mom, well, first, like I know what you felt on your way there to see, because you didn't know what happened,
Right.
but after you realized what happened, were you numb? Was there?
I think I just went numb. I think in that moment I went numb, but then we have to fast forward to reality that my sister has 3 kids and she just got shot 4 times. And I'm in a relationship, and I started this relationship with 3 stepkids, and then now I have 2 kids, so I have a family of 5.
Yeah.
And so now I have my sister's 3 kids, and now
That's
I have,
Now it's
and then
8.
I have my 13-year-old little sister,
That's
because I
9.
think Tasha was like 13 or 14 when it happened.
Wow.
So reality just kicks in, and you don't get to do anything other than make sure everything is okay. And that's what I did.
So you didn't have time to feel.
No. And I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't until I was sitting at my mom's funeral, and it was probably still one of the largest funerals I've seen to this day. For to me, just a normal person. You get what I'm saying? Because to me, she was just my mama. And again, just being honest, I didn't think she was all that great. I thought she was a great person because everybody loved her. I just didn't think she was a great mom.
Yeah.
So she was the fun auntie, the cool cousin, she was everybody's favorite everything. So sitting at her funeral and like looking around at all of those people, I just remember sitting there thinking, why couldn't I see her like they do? And I just felt so bad, and it was kind of too late. And I remember that like walking in. I remember just walking in and seeing all these people, like, who are all these people? And her job, like, bust people in from the convention center to come to her funeral, like bus loads, like more than one bus of workers and people. And I literally just remember walking in like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And then I remember like she lived a full life. She ran off a lot of times and met a lot of people in a lot of in a lot of cities. So
wow.
But she impacted a lot of people, and nobody ever had anything bad to say about her. No matter what happened, nobody has anything bad to say about her. And that's what made me started looking at her different. And then it was too late.
After she was gone.
It was too late.
Do you feel like that trigger, since you had to take on your sisters, do you feel like that you had to feel like that with your mom, that it just connected together? You know how you felt like you had to, your mom was your sister, and then when you had to take on with your sibling, did you feel like that, all right, boom, that's just how you felt, like, yeah, that's my obligation?
Well,
I'm gonna ask because you don't have the mic. So she's asking. My mom just asked you guys. Did she feel like when you had to take on after your mom died, you had to take on your little sister along with your stepkids and your kids? Like, did you feel like you were obligated? Did you feel like that was an obligation at that point?
I didn't feel like it was an obligation. I felt like it was what I've always done. Because I had always taken care of my sisters. So in this sense, I wasn't necessarily taking care of my sister, but I was taking care of what my sister couldn't take care of at that time, which was her kids. My little sister was, again, just my little sister. So I was, again, used to taking care of her, buying her school clothes, whatever, because I was older. And then I was already a stepmom. So I was already a mom, a stepmom. So it kind of just flowed into place. Now what I will say is, I literally felt like I've been a mom since the age of 6. I felt like I've been in a position of mothering since my mom had my sister. There were
so you had to raise.
Yeah, I've raised my sister and my brother. Absolutely. And then when we moved with my grandparents, they were older. So they were in their probably mid-50s when they took us. That was considered old. I was 9. You get what I'm saying? And then my siblings, my sister was like, what, 5? If I was 9, my sister was 3 when we moved with my grandparents. That means my brother was either 2 or 1. So again, it was made very clear that y'all are gonna have to, me and my brother gonna have to take care of these kids. Then sports came into his life, and it was pretty clear that I was gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't a thing. It was something. Now, what I will say is it put a strain on me and my sister's relationship because, again, she probably does view me as a mother figure or somebody who, you know what I'm saying, versus a sister who she can, because we don't have that relationship. And I'm okay with.
You couldn't really give her that at that time.
I couldn't give her that because I didn't have it to give. Like, I gave her what she needed. I gave her what we both needed, like just whatever needed to be done. And so again, you have to be okay. You have to and I think for me, people that watch might know what MAP is. You went through MAP.
Oh, MAP. So, maturity, accountability, and purpose.
So
that's our pastor, Pastor Christy Owens. That's her mentoring program. So what year were you?
T7.
T7. I was a T8.
So T4. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say you wanted T4.
I'm like, no, that
so
doesn't
year
sound
4
right.
when
Yeah, 4. Okay. I'm like, I know I didn't start when it first happened because I just wasn't jumping on all the all the bandwagons to be first at nothing, especially nothing like that.
So the mentoring program.
But it wasn't until there, I think when we did the mirror exercise.
Ooh, wasn't that terrible?
That was horrible.
That was so hard. Let me tell you about the mirror exercise. She had us covered off, and we had to sit in the chair in front of a mirror and say, she had us say, I forgive you for whatever. Right. And we had to say it to ourselves. It was so hard.
It was like word throw up.
Yeah.
For me, mine was like word throw up. Because again, you don't know what you need to forgive yourself for, or you don't even know what you're going to say until you're put in that moment. So you put in that moment, you sitting there, you looking in the mirror. And then for me, it was just like word throw up. So I didn't realize how much forgiving myself was going to aid in some release.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't realize how much stuff I took. Like, I just took, like, okay, I ain't gonna put nothing else on nobody else. I'm gonna just take it. Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
So you had to. So the first step was forgiving yourself before you can forgive.
I started to ask people's why. Because I was always curious and I always wanted, now I needed to know why. I needed to know my mom's why. I needed to know my dad's why. I started asking questions. And when stuff started to make sense, it's like, for me, again, I keep saying my mom was 17 with 2 kids. I have a 17-year-old daughter. So that's like giving Raylan 2 kids. Yeah, she would be great for a weekend babysitting 2 kids. But you know what I'm saying? Right. Like every day. So I can relate to wanting to need a break. You get what I'm saying? I can relate to want to be 17. Like, I couldn't imagine my baby not having a senior year or not being able to do all those things because she's already a mom and she has real responsibility. Because not only was she a mom, she had already moved out.
Okay.
Like, my dad had already got her an apartment. He was 21. She was 15 when they got together, and he was 21. Mm-hmm. So he hadn't already got her an apartment. You know, she was grown and gone.
Wow. How did you, because I was put in that position with my grandfather where I had to forgive him, but he was already gone. How did you forgive someone? How did you forgive your mom after she was already gone?
It was just a whole lot of crying. Mm-hmm. And that's something I hadn't did. Like, I didn't really remember crying at her funeral. It was 10, 12, 13 years later. And it was just one day that I just started to see her different. Like, everything about her just became different. Like, she wasn't bad, or it was like she needed help. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything she was doing was a cry for help. Like, she was 17. She wanted to go party. Okay, I can relate. You know what I'm saying? I was 17. I left her house when I was 13 and didn't go back.
Yeah.
So I can relate to just want to do what I want to do. I didn't have kids, thank God.
So you started putting yourself in her shoes.
I absolutely just started to look at the reality of the situation. And then I started to see it. You know how you see stuff in your bloodline. So whether it be, I see, okay, my sister was a teenage mom. Like, I wasn't. I don't think my other sister was, but both my brothers and my sister had, they were teenage parents or whatever the case was. It was just, I don't know. I just started to look at other people's why. I just started to look at the reality of, why could this happen, or how could this happen, or because again, we all make choices based on what we think. If you can relate, like, you get what I'm saying? You think your mama don't love you. You think your daddy don't love you. You think your sister don't love you. You think all of these things, and you can back it up by because I don't talk to them, because of this or because of that. But you don't ever think they're sitting somewhere saying, she don't love me. She don't want to have no relationship with me. She don't like me. She don't call me. We don't think about that. We just think about how we view it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even the same thing with your grandfather, like you said, forgiving somebody that's gone is hard. Mm-hmm. But it's a part of you that have to go back and tell yourself the truth about what happened. Mm-hmm. Why did it happen? Where was I in my life when it happened? Mm-hmm. Why do I feel different about it now than I did later? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Those are all questions I was asking myself about my mom. Like, what happened now that you feel this way about her? Mm-hmm. I'm seeing her friends, like her best friends, off drugs and raising their families. And that feels good, but it feels like crap. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't get to celebrate that with her. And when I should have been celebrating her, I was damning her for her choices and her life. And it was one time she said to me, why do you get mad at me about stuff I do to myself? And all I could say was, 'cause you my mama. Mm-hmm. Like, like, that's all I could say is, like, because you my mama. And it was time I didn't talk to her for like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. I just did not want to talk to her. I was just angry. So I tell people, I don't have a problem cutting people off. Like, if I could live around the corner from my mama, and just not want to, and still be at family functions. I never disrespected her. Right. But I was just done. It was just the point that I was done. Mm-hmm.
What was the last straw before that? Did she say something that you remember?
No, I just wanted her. I just had unrealistic expectations of me wanting her to change, or me just wanting her to be who I wanted her to be. I was being selfish. Mm-hmm. And again, I just wanted the kind of mama I wanted. And I held her to that, and she never knew that. Mm-hmm. And so again, unrealistic expectations. So she just being herself, and everybody loving her for it. And I'm so aggravated that she's everybody's favorite everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, y'all don't see this, or you don't see that, and no, they don't. Wow. Or you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was that was hard. That was hard, just realizing how hard you were. And again, it took my kids. My girls are hard. Like, their mouth is like mine. I must say. Their mouth is a lot like mine. So sitting down, having some conversations with them, and them telling me the type of parent that I am, when I'm thinking I'm just the what girl, I'm the best mama in the world,
but not to
them.
Not according to them.
And that hurt. But that was their perception. You get what I'm saying? So I think as a mom, all you go into being, so here's my disclaimer. I didn't know what the ham and cheese I was doing, never. But I've been a mama since I was 6.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So in every situation, I'll pick up a goddaughter, a little girl. I'm just going to love on all the little girls because I'm going to be who I needed. So I'm always going to find somebody to just love on and gift and give to and just love because that's just because I didn't feel that.
Feel that.
So I you found the love at?
She said, my mom, I'm sorry, Mom. No, you got it. She says that where you found the love.
So yes. So honestly, I felt like loving. So my stepkids were a big part of love for me. Just again, I think when you get to choose, when people get to choose, like your family don't get to choose to love you.
Right.
They get to pick and choose if they gonna love you or like you. But I think when somebody else comes into your life who just automatically loves you because they see you for whatever, then I think that's genuine. So I think that's probably why I've always just chosen to love different people who, I don't know, maybe who just didn't feel loved or I just felt like needed some love or whatever the case was. Wow. But it just
you're fine. No, that's our audience of my mother.
You start to realize to realize you be who you need to be, and you just, again, my kids, sitting down talking to them and them telling me like you're not a good mama.
Wow.
So for my girls, they said I wasn't emotional. Like I didn't know how to be that. I can be totally honest. I didn't know how to be that. Like, I just wanted them to be cute. I wanted them to be smart. You know, I wanted them to not be molested. I wanted them to be safe. It was just I just had a checklist of, if I can do this, I can be a good mom. I didn't insert how they were going to feel about it. I didn't insert, co-parenting after breakup. I didn't insert church, I didn't insert any of that stuff. I just had I'm not gonna be like my mama because I ain't gonna do this, because I ain't gonna do that, and guess what? I am my mother.
You became your mother.
I am 100%. And I'm gonna tell you, I love it. Like, I love it because, again, it makes it, now it's almost like she's getting to live through me in a sense. Or that's how I feel about it. I feel like she gets to live on when I then say, I really accept that part of me that is her. Like, then she gets to live on. Or when I tell my kids something about her, to say, that's from your grandma, or how to make tuna fish like my mama, or little, what I'm saying, then she gets to live on, or through me, or again, I have something good to tell them, because at first I just felt like I didn't have anything good to tell them. Like, I didn't have a good childhood. And that wasn't true. You get what I'm saying? Like, I had a good childhood. Things happen.
Yeah. But
overall, just looking, like, God was good. Like, you didn't even know it was God. God was good. Like, He was good. He was there. I could trace Him. Even when I didn't trust Him, I can go back and trace Him. Even when I was pissed at Him, it makes sense now. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was a time that nothing made sense. And
at that moment.
And no matter how much church I went to, it just didn't make sense. You couldn't tell me why kids get raped. You get what I'm saying? Like, you just can't tell me why a grown man would be attracted to a kid.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, if you're God, why would you make that kind of person? And that was my 11, 12, 13-year-old mind going to church. Like, I literally would sit in church sometimes and be like, all of this is so phony.
Yeah.
Like, because real stuff is happening, and like, where is God? Like, y'all say He see everything.
Yeah.
And so as a kid, I listened to what they said, to what they said about God, but I was a logical learner. Okay. And because I was logical, church wasn't making sense.
Yeah.
now.
I see what you're saying.
So when it was time to just take a break from church, I was just ready to take a break from church. I felt like I could be church teacher, to be a good person.
Yeah.
So leaving church as a teenager, I felt like, and in my 20s, I felt like I can just be a good person on my own. I can send money to church, and I did. Like
you did.
anybody, people used to go to church, baby. I listen. I'm out here doing all kind of foolishness. Now I love you, God, and I don't even know if I believe you, but I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? For something about the church I grew up in, baby, they believed in tithing. And I'm going to send my money to church. Well, what I am going to do is give God this 10%. Sometimes a little more than that, because I was just doing stuff, and he was covering me in my foolishness. So, yeah. But
was there ever, like, any time in your life that, not just from your mom, anybody, there were instances where it felt like it was unforgivable, like it's impossible for me to forgive this because it was so bad, or was there?
So there is a current situation that I'm battling. I'm not sure if I have forgiven. I'm not sure if I've even accepted. But sometimes somebody else's, again, their truth is their freedom.
Yeah.
And so
you tell me that all the time.
Who am I to hold somebody's hostage to their truth?
You tell me that all the time.
So to thine own self be true. If you need to tell me the truth to get freedom, but I accepted a hard truth a few years ago that I'm not sure how to feel or how to process it.
Right now.
I have, I'm doing the big girl thing, and I'm just doing, you're just moving along.
Yeah.
But it's something that I think about. It's something that weighs on me. It's something that definitely has to have a different level of closure before it can be done.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
I understand that. Me too, by the way. I don't have I don't think it's so much of unforgiveness for me. I think it's more of acceptance. Like, okay. Because I tell people all the time, like, forgiveness is not just a one-time thing. Like, you in that moment, you be like, oh, I forgive you. No, it's like a process of forgiving. If I came up to you and punched you in your face 3 times, and this is the only example I got. So if I punched you in your face 3 times, gave you a 2-piece, and you fall down, your nose bleeding, I done broke your nose, your lip busted, and then I say, I'm sorry. And I forgive you, but my lip is still busted. My nose is still broken. I still got to heal, Yeah. That it's a process. People think, because the Bible does say God wants us to forgive immediately, but that doesn't mean that it's not a process, because you still got to heal after you've forgiven.
I think for me, I look at it too as an ongoing choice.
Yeah, you have to keep choosing.
You have to choose to keep forgiving, because if it's trauma, people are walking around that you have to see or you have to deal with. Yeah. So you're going to choose to forgive and, again, open the cage and let them out.
Yeah.
Every time you see them, you can't have you know what I'm saying? So sometimes I walk into certain rooms saying, I've forgiven. I don't want to be triggered by anything that somebody's going to say. If I need to leave, I can leave. I drove my own vehicle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's how you have to be around your family. Like, I literally just walk in the room saying, if you need to leave, you can leave. Like, you're an adult. Like, you don't have to sit through anything. You don't have to be uncomfortable. But I literally walk into a lot of places saying, I have already forgiven these people. Like, free them. Because, again, you can say you forgive people all day and then go around them and your whole, my whole everything just be like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say that I've forgiven, and then I can be on my way somewhere, and I just, I start feeling a type of way. And then
that's my baby. He trying to get comfortable.
And then I'm just saying to myself, like, have I, Because it don't take away the feeling.
No, it don't.
And I think that's what people don't talk about. Forgiveness don't take away how it made you feel.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So you're still going to sometimes have those feelings.
Excuse me, y'all. No, keep going. That's my
Um,
baby. He don't know if he want to get comfortable. I have a rabbit, everybody. That's my baby. It's
A
my
little-
son.
she has
get
a
comfortable.
son.
I have a son. That's my baby.
So
So yeah, but no, that's good. So it sounds like you're saying you have to keep.
it's
You have to keep
it's a
forgiving.
choice.
Yeah.
It's a daily choice. It's a when I see them choice. It's a, again, you sometimes you have to walk in the room saying, I've already forgiven these people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
To
Like
remind.
to remind yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of
Because-
times that be like kind of like humbleness, and all that is connected with it. You know what I'm saying? All of it is connected to it. Oh, should I be humble, or should I just react, or should I just, you know what I'm saying? That's just
Okay.
That was my mom, you guys. So
So her mom used a good word. She said humble.
Humility.
It does take a level of humility.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a level of like maturity.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? To sometimes just and it don't feel good to be the bigger person all the time.
ooh, no.
It our audience
mom.
is funny, y'all. It don't
Maturity.
it
Bigger
does
person.
not, it doesn't feel good to be the bigger person all the time. It helps the situation, absolutely, but it doesn't
feel good.
it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like I'm not being heard. Sometimes it feels like my feelings don't matter. Sometimes it feels like rejection, abandonment. It can feel like a lot of stuff just based on what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing too is you got to change how you, like, once you forgive yourself, then how you view the thing the perception
The
of things
perception of it changes.
should change.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't until,
what
like
you're
I said, I forgave my mom that I started looking at her as a mom now. Like, if my mom was a mom right now, she would have da-da-da-da. You know, I started to see her different.
Mm-hmm.
And my forgiving her wasn't as my mother. My forgiving her was, this is a woman. A girl. Like, you know, I was just hard on a girl.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So that is where the grace came in. Grace. And then again, the conversations with my daughter. It feels bad when it doesn't feel good to feel like you have to make the people who are supposed to love you. Ooh. That was a hard thing for me. And it honestly feels like that's what I've been doing for years. Like my mom, even my kids. Like, you go, I don't know if people don't be honest, but I went through a phase where I felt like at one point Raylan didn't like me, at the other point Rayana didn't like me. Sometimes they still don't like me. I'm okay with that now, but in those moments it was just another moment of feeling rejected. And again, how can something that I have, or something that I birthed and I have so much love for, make me feel so bad? I don't think people address, again, the truth of your kids. Like, I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
And if you be honest, to, like, as a mother, as a 45-year-old mother with 3 kids now, when I had Rayana at 24, I didn't know what I was doing. Now I done had stepkids. I done been stepmama and, you know, boyfriends with kids. And I've always liked people with kids. I was told I couldn't have any kids. So I never had a problem dating somebody that had kids. It's just, I raised my sisters and my brothers. But truth be told, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just combing hair and buying pretty clothes and, you know, the cute stuff, the girl stuff, the stuff that, you know what I'm saying?
Doing what you had to do with what you had.
With what I had and with what I knew.
What you knew.
Now what I will say is, my mom used to always say, I just feel bad for you because you don't even know what you don't know.
Oh, wow.
And I hated that because, again,
It took me a minute to get what you just said.
Here I am.
What you don't know. Yeah.
I am being a smart butt, always thinking I know more than her. Because again, I know more than everybody. Y'all just stupid. I can make my own choices for my life. Hence, my 17-year-old right now, I'm just stupid and she can make her choices for her
But
own
your
life. You know what
17-year-old
I'm
doing the same thing.
saying? So
Just
this
like
stuff
you.
come back.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Comes back.
I rather ask for forgiveness than permission. You know, all of the little
Yeah.
stupid stuff I used to say. My kids, you know, you
No,
get
they're
that stuff
doing
back, and you realize, like, being honest, I did not know what I was doing when I was 24. Again, my plan was I ain't gonna do this because my mama did that. I ain't gonna do that because my mama did that. I ain't gonna do that. You know, I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of what my mama didn't do, and that's gonna make me a great mom. No. You know, you missed all the in-betweens. You missed a whole bunch of stuff. And then when they grow up and tell you how horrible you were at it, at the great job that you think you did, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you realize like, yeah, you don't know everything.
Wow.
And now I'm at this phase of telling my kids, like, you don't even know what you don't know.
You saying the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You know, they're both ready to go. They're ready to, you know, we want to move, we want an apartment, and that's fine. I've been out since I've been out since I was 13, not fully on my own, but just out with a little bit of supervision, and never went back. Left the state of Florida at the age of 15, came back at 18, well, a month shy of being 19. So I was gone. From 15 to 19, I was gone by myself in a whole nother state with no family, just a friend, just one person I met and just moved.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? So, but it took for me to see that. It took for me to, that was really probably the best times of my life, to be honest, because those were the times that I weren't responsible for anybody but me. And I never knew what that felt like before, if that makes sense. So it was a freedom of, I ain't got nobody kids, I ain't got to do this, I ain't got to do that. Now, my friend did have kids, and because I just love kids, you're naturally going to go into I'll help you, I'm the auntie, I'll babysit, that kind of role or whatever, and that's just who I became. But it was just a different type of freedom. And then I needed to get away. Sometimes you need to leave where you're from to just see something different. So true. Those were good times. Now I realize that they were God ordained, like just everything. Because again, I thought I was so smart. I thought I was just making all these great choices on my own. And like, again, I had to put God to the side. Like, he let bad stuff happen, so I can do good without him. So, yeah.
I went through that same phase.
Yeah, I'm making great choices by myself. I don't go to church no more. I will drop some offering, to somebody. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars, baby, because my nerves get bad. I don't know. I go to doing too much, and then I got to find a church and just make an offering. Like I can hear them now. Will a man rob God? No. So I would hear that every now and then. I would hear Deacon Dix in my head every now and then saying that. And baby, I need to find a church, drop some money in the plate. And then I was back good with God. And that's how I felt. Like I didn't have to go to church to be good because I was confused. I was confused about religion. I was confused about tradition. I was confused about how there's so many churches and everybody going to hell but our church or our denomination. It was just so much I did not know and was confused about that I didn't even want to think about it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It just did not make sense to think about it because I ain't really have no church hurt. People say church hurt. I ain't have
because you weren't there.
No, I grew up like from when we were with my grandparents. We grew up in a church. I saw stuff that I understood when I left the church. I didn't see anything going on in the church at the time that I understood to be going on. Growing up, getting outside of the church, and then looking back. Oh, absolutely, it was stuff. You get what I'm saying? It was always stuff. I wasn't in the stuff.
Right.
I didn't. That wasn't my stuff. Not my pig. Not my farm. You know what I'm saying? That was not my stuff. So I don't have the typical church hurt, story that some people have or whatever. Even the church that I'm a part of now,
Joshua Generation Outreach Church, we're both a part of. Apostle Jerry Owens and Pastor Christy Owens had to plug that in.
I've been at Joshua since like 2009. To be honest, I would consider that my second church home. Because I only consider the church that I grew up in my first church home, because that's just where I went. That's where I grew up. That's where I did Sunday school. That's where I had made friends, choir rehearsal, all vacation Bible school, fifth Sunday meetings, all that good stuff, that stuff. So that to me would be my church home. This was, and that was by choice. So this church that now that I'm in, it's by choice.
Yeah.
I this is where I wanted to be with my children. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Coming into Joshua Generation, I came in through another church. We kind of merged with Joshua Generation after so we just, their church, they decided to merge with Joshua.
Okay.
We merged with Joshua Generation, and I'm gonna be honest with you. For me, in 2009, I had just broken up with my girl's dad. They were like 3 and 5. It was just a safe place to cry. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't hearing nothing. I wasn't listening to nothing. Like it was just a place that I could go, and my kids could sit somewhere else, and I could just cry. Without them saying, "Mommy, what's wrong?" Or I just remember being so heavy and just not knowing what to do. So for the first couple of months of Joshua Generation, to me, I probably just went to the altar and just cried.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had not allowed myself to do for a long time. Now, I sucked it back in. Like, again, when we first went, it was just, oh, they don't know me. And I'm probably not coming back because they talking about merging our church with these people. And I don't know these people. So I ain't, baby, I'm just here to cry. I'm just here to, cry and go to my car and smoke. And I'm going to feel better. And that was just my routine. And I'm just being honest. And I couldn't just sit there and cry anymore. I started to pay attention. I started listening. Then people started connecting to my kids. The first person I really connected with at Joshua Generation, and I think people know, I say it all the time, is Sister Sylvia. Like, was just, again, she's at the door, she gonna talk to you, and she was just so sweet. And then she had Sam, and so of course they just became my people. Yeah. So I was just looking forward to going to see them. Person. Yeah, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. And so I was just in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna go. So Sylvia gonna give me a hug. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna, and then we just, it grew. Like it just became a family. It fast. I don't even think I wanted it to happen as fast as it did, but God knew what we needed when we needed it.
Yeah. That's true.
What I will say is too, I think, and let me just say, Pastor, I love you and I thank you. I just thank you that you took the time when I needed it. You get a lot of slack or flack for, not being there or loving people and then dropping them or whatever the case is. I thank God that you loved me until I could fly. I thank God that you were able to hold me when I was wounded, love me through that season, and then allow me to fly. I don't look at it as being dropped. I can be honest. You have feelings sometimes when new people come to the church and you like, oh, they, now they cool with them or not. But truth be told, don't nobody want to hang out with the pastor. I remember when Pastor them used to be at my house, I used to be wanting them to go home so bad. I was smoking. I want y'all to go home. Like, I want y'all to go home. You know what I'm saying? I just remember them being there and I loved it. And it was a time that was what it was. And it was and God gave me what I needed. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But when I think back to when people I really hate it because I want people to thank God that your pastor, your leaders, whoever was there in that moment. Stop worrying about what happens after because in the moment that you needed that person, they were there. You get what I'm saying? And you have to think, this is a church. Right. The doors of the church are always open. So if that means the doors of the church are always open, if we're being fair, it's always somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? Like we don't think about it like that. Yes, we should have other people in the church that we should lean on. I remember a time that if Pastor didn't answer the phone, I would die. Like I needed him to
be like that.
And he was my small G God. And he used to say and then when they stop answering the phone, the devil is definitely gonna say, they just busy and they just and then because you love them and because you have a relationship with them, Shantel, breathe, you can handle this, and he'll call me back and say, I just wanted you to know that you could handle it. I know you was freaking out. I was laughing. I knew I was going to call you back, and I didn't think it was funny.
Yeah, right.
But It was growth.
It was growth.
Yeah,
And again,
right.
I'm like, you're seeing the growth. Like,
Wow.
I'm not gonna. That was the cutoff.
That's
I'm not gonna be able to answer the phone every
Every
single
single
time that you
Oh,
call. That's how we are with anybody, though. Think about it. That's how we are with our kids.
Yeah.
We have 18 years. We'll have their whole life, but we have 18 years to truly influence them
Yeah.
into whatever. I'm going to be honest. My tactic was fear. I told Rayon and Raylan the truth about everything. If you do this, it's going to hurt. If you do that, it's like, it was just a fear tactic. So when they got old enough, too blunt, too bold, too, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that I was doing stuff age appropriately,
Right.
but it probably wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I just, because I felt lied to, because people said, because I'm grown, because I want to. None of that stuff made sense to me because I was logical kid. So I needed
And you
stuff.
wanted to know why.
I needed to know why. I needed to connect the dots. I needed stuff to make sense.
Right.
And because I didn't get that grace, I put stuff together. And maybe if I put it together right, I put it together right. Or maybe if I put it together wrong, I put it together wrong. But I grew up. I just always remember, like, I got high blood pressure right now. But I remember just being a nervous Nancy kid. Like, I just remember.
Anxiety?
We didn't call it anxiety in the 80s.
You called it nervousness.
You was just nervous. You know what I'm saying? You called it. So I'm gonna be honest. I heard a lady somewhere. I don't know if you know where it was, but I heard somebody say you don't think about kids who grow up with parents that were addicted to crack or in the 80s. She was like, you have certain things that you do based on that.
Yeah.
So certain things do remind me. Like I overpay bills. I'm a person who wants my bills to be paid on time. I'm not the last minute type person. You're not finna find no notices nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm hyper because my mom wasn't good at that. So we come home and the light's gonna be off, or you know what I'm saying. So it was just certain things that I, again, make sure to be a good parent. Look, to be a good parent, make sure you pay the bill. You know what I'm saying. Make sure you pay the bills. So it was just it was just not knowing how to relax. It was just always something happening. It was always something happening. So the adrenaline was definitely always flowing to keep going.
So you was always on edge.
I was always on the edge. I was always moving. I was always doing something. I didn't really know how. I still struggle with relaxing. I still struggle with just not so much being to myself, because I really enjoy being to myself. Now I kind of just go to sleep. I will go out to eat. You know, I don't mind doing stuff with myself, but even now at 45, I ask myself, like, I really just enjoy people. I'm a people's person. I like how you just like being by yourself. I don't want to go on vacation with just me. I can. But now, the difference is I'm going to meet 50 people.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet somebody on the plane. I'll meet somebody at the airport. I'm going to be talking to them, and I'm probably the person Jaira be to my, could you please be quiet? Like, I'm not here to talk to you. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the person that's going to say something to you. You smell good. I like your hair. Whatever is going to strike a conversation with somebody, I'm probably going to be the first person to say it. Because it's just, I'm just not going to sit here and, because for a long time, I didn't like my thoughts. My thoughts were not good. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely didn't want to sit in my thoughts. I didn't want to sit in no quiet. Baby, give me some music. I will sing, you know, give me some anything.
Yeah.
So not going to sleep with the TV off. Just, I need something. I need noise. I don't like to, sitting in my thoughts. Ooh, that was bad. Now I can. I need to write. I definitely have to. Sitting in my thoughts make me just sit, and I have to write stuff down. But sitting in my thoughts now is comfortable. Sitting in my thoughts before was scary, because they weren't always good thoughts. You just think about stuff situationally. I used to always ask myself, like, what would I be like if I just was just irresponsible just one time? Like, I've always looked at myself as a responsible person. So sometimes I just say, I just want to be irresponsible. I don't want to pay this. I don't want to. Yeah. And then I'm like, your whole life will follow. Like, you would die. Like, if you didn't pay something, like, you would, you know what I'm saying? You would die. You get what I'm saying? Like, but I ask myself certain things, like, why am I not comfortable being a risk taker? Why am I not, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, all of those things are probably triggers of just growing up. Yeah. My mama took a lot of risk for everybody. Yeah. So no, I ain't, I'm going to, walk slow, and I'm going to pay attention. And so, I don't know.
So Now we have to give some advice as
Okay.
we wrap up soon. To I want you to tell my audience, everybody, me, my mom is here. What has forgiveness taught you? Like now, what has it taught you? Or is it something you're still learning?
No, that's a
forgiveness
good
taught
question.
you?
So forgiveness has taught me that it is time sensitive. Forgiveness has taught me like you just have to do it. You don't know until you know. You have to have hard conversations. You you're just gonna have to have hard conversations. You're gonna have to have hard conversations. You're gonna have to have tough conversations. You're gonna have to agree to disagree, because my perception as a kid was not her perception as a parent. Just like right now, my perception as a parent is not my kid's perceptive as their parent.
Yeah.
So it's a compromise. It's a remember where I was, remember what I did, give them some grace. They have a story. Everybody has a story. I think, and that's the big thing. Forgiveness has definitely taught me that everybody has a story. There is hearing somebody's story will make you forgive them. If you just ask, can I just ask you what happened? Like you'll feel stupid sometimes, like, oh my God. And sometimes just not knowing is the reason that you don't forgive. Forgiveness has taught me that it's personal. It can't be because of you. It can't be because of, it just needs to be because of you. It can't be because of anyone other than you. You have to be ready. Sometimes you'll be ready before the other person is ready, and you still have to be ready. And you still have to be ready to forgive. And that's where the forgiveness being a choice. I'm going to forgive you today too. Like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah,
and you made me mad, and you said something, and it triggered everything came back up. But I forgive you. Like, so sometimes again, those are the moments that you're just going to have to remember why. Their why, not your why.
Their why.
Their why. Like, my mom's why is why I forgave her. My dad's why is why I forgave him. You get what I'm saying? My why, all of my whys is why I forgave me. When I asked myself, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why? I just needed, I didn't know.
Yeah.
If you weren't taught, then you don't know. Yeah. We learn a lot of stuff just by waking up every day and just making a choice. You just decide if I'm going to turn left or I'm going to turn right. There's two ways to get everywhere.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you just choose. You don't have all of the answers, and we hold people hostage for not having our answers. You get what I'm saying? Like,
it's not fair.
It's not fair. Nothing that anybody, if I could have a conversation with my mom, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with her about everything that I didn't, you know what I'm saying, that I thought she didn't do. I would have a conversation with her with what was it like having me as a daughter? Because I was a butt. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just want to know, like, how did I make you feel? Because I never considered that. I just considered how you made me feel. I never considered your why when you were here. You get what I'm saying? So again, I think going back to forgiveness being a time thing. If people are here, forgive. If they're here, ask their story. Like, the story is so important. The story will answer questions that you've wondered for years. Like, because again, when you don't know, you make up stories, right? When you don't know, you just make up stuff in your head. They don't like me. They ain't going to be around me. They don't whatever. And then you ask the questions and you get the real answers, and you sometimes feel stupid.
And you have a whole conversation in your head with the person and they're not involved.
Oh, I definitely have had. I still have conversations with people that are not there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pre-have this conversation. I pre-have a lot of conversations. And that's why my kids, you're so predictable. You're just like, I'm definitely the person who's just going to blow up and do nothing.
Wow.
Like, it's just a real, real big blow up. for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just for nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I don't mean it. Because, again, my kid, you're mean or you say bad stuff or what? Listen, in that moment that I said it, I absolutely meant everything. Did I consider how it was going to make you feel? Absolutely not. That was not my train of thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of times as a parent, that's not our train of thought. Now it is. Like, Elijah's going to have a whole different mom than Rayon and Raylan. I was their mom in my 20s. Yeah. Like, I was a get it girl. Totally, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got he has a whole other mama. Yeah. Whole nother mama.
And that's really good, Shantel. Because me and my mom because I had so much. It was so much I didn't know about my mother and my daddy. Because I feel like with my grandparents, my mother's parents, they raised me pretty much. But when they didn't, it felt like they kept things from me that I did not know that my mother actually did. So when I finally talked to my mother and my father individually, it was like, man, I didn't know you actually did that. Or I didn't know you took me to the doctor.
I told you that.
Yeah.
We talked, and I think, so I just kept saying, you got to talk to your mom.
Yeah, you got to hear her story.
Like you have to hear her story. Like don't ever miss the opportunity to get the story, because there's going to be a time that she's not going to be here.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying, or you're not going to be here. God forbid. However it goes first, but don't not get the story. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't have an opportunity to talk to somebody to get an understanding, to get closure that's here, that weighs so heavy on your heart. Because I kept telling you, Quilla, like, you don't know. After reading your story, what did I tell you? I feel bad for your mom.
Yeah.
I just kept saying, I just feel so bad for her. Now, I felt bad for her because your relationship with her kind of felt like my relationship with my mom, reading it on paper. It didn't make her seem like a monster. It was your truth about it. But I kept saying, she also has a story.
Yep.
And you don't know her story. Like, she was, however old pregnant she was in the church. I was like, she was 16 in the church, and she probably felt this and she felt that. And then here you go, your grandparents just love you to death. And I'm like, that's a lot. Like, you need to talk to her. Like, I could not sleep. I just kept saying, you got to talk to her. And then when she talked to her dad first, I was like, and then you went and had a conversation with your daddy first? How you think that make her feel? She mad. Like, she feels some type of way. She's like, you're not helping. You're making me more nervous. But I just, again,
and I was telling him, I said, it's not.
Parents don't know what they're doing. That's the TikTok. Parents do not know what they're doing. And young parents, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're just going to do a whole bunch of what your mama didn't do. And you're going to end up realizing, like, my mom didn't raise a bad kid. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to go through whatever you're going to go through. You're going to make good choices. You're going to make bad choices. But at the end of the day, who you are is a core of who raised you. And so at the end of the day, she did. She raised me. She raised me for a little bit of my life, and she was an influence she'll be an influence for the rest of my life. She was always my mom. You get what I'm saying? Like, she raised me, then my grandfather raised me, then my stepmama raised me, then my friends raised me, then dudes raised me, you know what I'm saying? Then God raised me. So you just, it is just a cycle of growing up. It's just a cycle of growing up, but you have to, if people don't know what they're doing. Nobody. Not one parent can tell you, not one book. When you first have your first baby, you have a better idea with your second baby, but guess what? Your second baby and your first baby are not the same babies. Because, baby, I had two totally different kids. Now, this second baby and this third baby is the same baby. One just a girl and one just a boy. Elijah is absolutely Raylan, born again. But Rayana and Raylan were night and day. Rayana used to, like, literally ask, can we take the batteries out of Raylan? Like, can we take the batteries out? Like, can she be quiet? So they were just two totally different kids. And so you don't know. You do the best you can. And I think that's what parents need to be honest about. Like, there was just a time that after Rayana and Raylan just hurt me to the core, I had to say, I didn't know. Like, you just have to be honest to say, I don't know. I just did the best I could. I didn't want to do what hurt me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do what brought me pain. I didn't want to reciprocate any of that. But you still inflict some form of pain by just what you don't do or what you don't know.
What you don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, giving my dad a grace. I asked myself, like with them, why is it that we do that? You get what I'm saying? Like, we give our moms 90% of the crap.
Yep.
And our dad's just that little bit, you know, because my daddy was my daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
My dad did. And I was sitting, I was like, you know what? They equally.
Yeah. I mean, when you think, and the difference is they have an equal story.
Yeah. Yeah.
They both have a story of why. They have their own why. Her why and his why is two different whys.
No. But they collided, because when I talked to him, because, you know, my mom and my dad, they still friends. You know, they was each other's first everything. And then here I come. So with my dad, when I heard his story, and he brought up my mom, he would tell me how they were together with me, or how they were feeling when they found out my mom was pregnant. And my daddy flat out said, like, your mama thought about, because she was so scared, thought about like an abortion. And he was like, I threatened to kill her.
He did.
I threatened to kill her. I was like, you're not going to get rid of my baby. And it made me feel, it was like affirmation in some sort of way.
It was a like, dad's affirmation, but that was another blow against mama.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But we do it, and we don't even know we do it.
Yeah.
We do it, and we don't know that we do it. I swear to you, I keep asking myself, like, how was a man in prison? My daddy was my hero. Like, my daddy gonna do this. And I recently just told my uncle, like, I think I gave my daddy all your grace. My uncle, my daddy's brother, my Uncle Tank, Kelvin Hightower, to me did everything. Like, he was the person that your grades, he gave you the money, you know, if you field trips, if I could just get to my uncle, it was going to be okay. Or if my daddy told my uncle or whatever, because I remember always talking to my daddy on the phone. I remember going to see him in prison. That's probably why I won't date nobody, no jail. No, I'm not going to no jail. That's them gates cling and that sound and the men standing up there with the guns and all that. Oh, that was traumatizing. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the jail thing. I think I went to see my brother maybe once or twice. And that was triggering. So yeah, I'm not doing the jail thing. We ain't dating nobody in jail. The judge broke us up. I'm sorry, see you when you get home. I'm so sorry, baby. The judge just broke us up. You know what I'm saying? No. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Wow. But yeah, no, it was, it was like an unintentional blow, but he was saying, like, oh, you know, we were because
both
his
scared.
Side because again, his story is his story and her story is her story. And I will say that you seem freer.
Oh yeah.
Like, even going back, because I watch your podcast always twice. So I watch it.
Oh,
like,
you watch it twice?
Yeah, I always watch it twice. I watch it and then I'll go back and I watch it again. I will say, like, church being online has been good for me, the writing part of me, because I just get to make Jerry shut up when I want to. I just pause. Now I get to write it. You know what I'm saying? Write how I want to instead of. So I do love that. So that part of going back, watching the notes and getting to make sure that I heard what I wanted to hear or I got what I needed to get from it is good. But it's I think we need to just trust the process. I think life is a whole lot of just trusting the process. Looking back, again, you can see and you can trace. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. You can trace where you just wanted to be doing what you wanted to be doing. I didn't want to be healed. You get what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to stay mad for a long time. Like, people's like, you don't like people. Like, I loved people. I loved people, but I wanted to stay mad so I didn't have to connect with people because people had hurt me. Yeah. And people had left me or abandoned me, and it made me feel some type of way. So although I was a lover of people and a helper and a giver, I came off very, I don't want to like you. Like, I didn't want to like you. I didn't want to like you.
You didn't.
I
didn't want to like you either.
When we sat on the stage,
it wasn't like a fight or nothing. We just internally.
When we sat on the stage, because I literally
We did a panel.
Pastor did a panel at church. And so we kind of just got
Told our
to
stories.
briefly tell our stories, and he was asking different questions. And so I think we hugged or something after, and then maybe
she inboxed me and didn't even say, hey, she's like, let me in. And I'm like,
but the difference was, it was like one of these situations. God is so funny because just when you think you don't want to, like, you don't want to put nobody else in your circle, like, okay,
like,
God,
I'm good.
Look, the circle closed. I'm good. I got Yolanda. I got this person. I got my circle, God. I'm good. And then here comes this annoying little sister. Like, this is a little sister I never asked for. Mm-hmm. And I call you a healthy trigger because every time you call me, I'm sitting there like, what is she getting ready to say? Like, I be working on stuff in my own mental, and then here she go. Can I ask you a question? What do you think about? Am I being dramatic?
Am I be the one asking for the advice?
And she be asking for herself, and she has no clue. I be like, God, you're not funny. I wasn't ready to deal with that yet in my own life. Now you gonna make me tell Quilla what you told me to do, and I ain't even did it yet. I get it. Okay. It's like every time she called me, it's just something that God is saying, I told you. Nah, you gonna tell her. But and I think too, like, people put a lot of weight on church.
They do.
We go to church 2 days a week.
Yeah. 2 days.
2 days a week. And you're with God 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. We don't put the weight on God that we put on our leaders. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? True. Like, when I realized that, when I started having it out with God, because I didn't want to have it out with Jerry. I didn't have a problem with Jerry or Christy or nobody at my church. Mm-hmm. I had a problem with God. Like, I needed him and me to talk about some stuff. You get what I'm saying? So when I started to put the weight on God, I started being accountable for the answers. Like, I started getting the answers from who I needed answers from.
Who had the
God
answers.
couldn't. Yeah. My mom was dead and gone. Yeah. I put the weight on God about our stuff. So guess what? Then I started. My auntie from Largo started calling me, and she telling me all these stories about my mama, and there was a connection. And, you know, I found my little sister. My little sister found me on Facebook. My mom had a daughter that she left in the hospital. And my sister found me. She was like 32. So I found one sister looking for this sister. So it was really two sisters. So I have a younger sister that lives in Tampa. My mom did get a chance to meet her before she passed away. Her name is Simone. But I have a sister that lives in Melbourne that my mom didn't get a chance to meet. And she's the one that she was the one that was left in the hospital. She has, again, cerebral palsy, and she has she has a small form of intellectual disability. But seeing her was like triggering. Mm-hmm. Like, again, because it started making me deal with my mom. Like, I had done forgiven my mom because, again, I just met her a few years ago, right when I was pregnant with Elijah. So 3, maybe 4 years ago, we just met. She's an adult. But seeing her, I remember, I remember going home, being pregnant, and the shower is definitely my safe place to cry. So I just remember going in the shower and just screaming. Mm-hmm. Like, I was so mad at my mama.
When you found your sister?
Yes, because I instantly went into, I gotta fix this. Like, I gotta get her. Yeah. I gotta get her. I gotta take care of her. Like, she needs to know that she's loved. Like, she, you know, all of this stuff. And the reality of it is, it's 4 years later. I don't have the ability to take care of her. And it saddens me.
So
like,
you kind of retracted to your old self.
Yes. And so it was just, I literally said, she just left another mess. Like, this just something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had done forgave her. And we was best friends in my head. Like, she was my mama. We was cool. Yeah. But the minute I saw my sister and to hear, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing her story. It just was like, oh, this lady, like, she just.
And that's a perfect example of forgiving again.
Yes. And so I had to say, now I'm calculating ages, and I'm like, okay, now she was already, if this baby came after this baby, she was already 4 kids in, this baby number 5. Yeah. And this baby and my little brother is a year apart. So that means right after she had Jeremy, she got pregnant with. Right when my granddaddy took us, it's probably when she was giving birth to this baby that she left in the hospital, because now I ain't got no more kids. I ain't got no house to go to no more. I done lost my apartment and all 4 of my kids. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can put that together, but in that moment, I didn't put that together. Yeah. I just wanted to be mad. I wanted to be mad all over again, because I wanted to I don't know if I wanted to feel what my sister was feeling. I had already felt it. And I would tell my sister when she say, well, it's not fair because y'all, I said, Gigi, we got to live with her, but she didn't raise us. Like it wasn't,
What she
peaches
was
and
thinking.
creams,
Yeah.
it was a whole bunch of living with people and her and her sister living together and us, you know what I'm saying? It was just a whole lot of not what you thought.
Yeah.
And so but she doesn't understand because think about you being the kid on the outside.
Yeah.
You just think about, I didn't get to live with my parents, and no matter what nobody told me, I felt like they just picked everybody over me. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And that's how she felt. She feels like, well,
overlooked.
Overlooked. Everybody else got a chance to know her. Everybody, I didn't get that chance. And so it made me feel like I need to protect her, or I need to save her, or I need to whatever, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But when I told myself the truth, I couldn't. Mm. You get and it still bothers me. But the truth of the matter is I can't. I cannot take care of her. I can go see her. I could aid, and she wants to move to Orlando from Melbourne. But that would look like you moving into a group home.
Yeah.
You've been with these people for 32 years. These people adopted you. Mm-hmm. So you live in a house with your adult siblings, as you guys call each other. But you ready to come to Orlando, and I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And you saying all this stuff happening, I don't know what to do with that. And I'm saying, God, I don't know what to do with that. You get what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. I'm just learning that I don't know what, it's okay to not know. It's okay to say that you don't know, because I was never okay not knowing. Mm-hmm. I needed to know. People say what you don't know don't hurt you. That's not true.
That's
for me,
definitely not true.
For me, I needed to know.
Yeah. So
now I'm learning that that's a form of control. Well, I have learned that's definitely a form of control. Baby, if we talk about manipulation, I'm so healed from that, but that was definitely my thing. A dude didn't have a chance if I just wanted whatever I wanted from you. You didn't have a chance. I would just paint the perfect picture to get what I wanted. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to do something different. Mm-hmm. You just make up in your mind that at some point you just want to do something different. I want to be different. I don't want to be angry. I don't want everybody to look at me as okay, and I'm not, because most people did, because I was a giver. Yeah. So people ain't checking on the person who checking on everybody.
Nope. That's so not.
When I had to be honest, I had to tell myself, you're not even being honest with yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not. I put everybody else's feelings before mine. Mm-hmm. And then I say, and then that pisses me off about everybody else, because I put your feelings before mine. Then I got a situation. I feel like it don't even bother you. But I've been my self fixer. Yeah. I would be honest to say I didn't let too many people all the way in to know that I needed to be fixed, because I needed to know everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if I know everything, then what I need you for? So you just have to be honest. And I think it's just been an amazing journey to grow up. It really has. It's been an amazing journey to grow up honestly. Yeah, honestly. Because there was a time that I was just growing up. Mm-hmm. I wasn't being honest. When my kids got past the scare phase, now baby, you got to what you used to tell them to pacify them or to get them is not working. You get what I'm saying? So you have to do something different, but every phase of life is going to require a different phase of you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you truly be honest with yourself, you evolve every day. Yeah. So every day you're learning something. Every day, if you apply what you learned yesterday, it makes you a better person. Mm-hmm. And that's just it. Trust the process. Don't quit on yourself.
And show grace to yourself.
Trust the process.
I suck at that.
Showing grace to yourself?
I don't ever show grace to myself.
And I'm not even saying that I'm the best at it, but what I will say is, the more you do it, the better, the easier. It's not even the better. The easier it becomes. You just have to say, I didn't get to do that today. Mm-hmm. And you do the opposite of me. You have this system and this.
It's because of my granddaddy. My granddaddy was very meticulous about time.
Listen,
and he taught me that he would get his bass guitar on at church and start at 11:30. He didn't care who didn't come. He's finna start singing. He wanted to leave. He'd get frustrated, and it's not like he taught me that intentionally, but I just saw it, and now time is my thing.
Okay, more is caught than taught. So just like you caught the time, I learned not to plan anything because nothing is certain. Nothing is certain.
What?
So
everything is certain.
When people would say plan, either you planning or you plan to fail,
I have to plan.
Planning and writing stuff down, I'm gonna be honest with you, still to this day, like I'm learning because it just stuff ain't never happened right. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Stuff ain't never
it ain't go
baby, this schedule ain't never been the schedule. It ain't never went, my life ain't even go how it was supposed to go to me.
Okay.
So how is this little piece of paper gonna tell, you know what I'm saying? So people that plan, like people like you who just, that drives me nuts.
I have my whole day on my wall.
And you know what? And I wish I could be like that. Because Miles Monroe said, if Miles Monroe said, people who have a hard time saying no, if your day is already scheduled, you don't have room for anybody else's stuff. So I sit with that. Mm-hmm. However,
you still
it's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's a learned behavior that no matter what I write on this paper, something can go wrong in 10 minutes and my whole day.
I'm not good with New Year's resolutions because I'm not good with that. New Year's resolutions and all that coming on with, I'm not good with that at all.
Because it's a form of a plan.
Right.
And you're not good. Yeah. If you're not, I don't do that either. Like so I'm not.
It went from my dad, skipped me, and went to my daughter. It definitely skipped me.
So you saying that meticulous and that time thing, baby? Look, that went to the other generation.
Yeah.
That wasn't 100. Listen, and I get it.
I'm sorry.
I get it.
I appreciate you for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you.
You
taught me a lot about forgiveness, y'all.
That was wonderful.
At the end of the day, please forgive. That's all I got. Just forgive them people. People love you with what they have.
Before you forgive them and them people and those people, forgive yourself. Start with you.
Step 1.
Go look in the mirror because it just, for whatever reason, that mirror just make it come out. Just go look in the mirror and say, I forgive myself for, and just start forgiving yourself. And then the weight is going to, like, it's really going to become easier to forgive other people because you've released so much already. Like, you carry your stuff is your heaviest weight. Your perception, your doubts, your fears, like all of that is your own heavy weight. And so once you drop that weight, it's easier to allow other people in. It's easier to, and then once you tell your story, like once you get free in who you are, you don't care how other people feel anymore because you've gotten free. Yeah. This is my story. Like I can't change anything. If I could, I don't think I would because I don't think I'd be the same person. Like there's some stuff that I go back and say, I'm like my daughter Raylan told me the other day when she was doing my nails. She said, I just think it's my life. I don't think anybody should get to make choices about my life. Now she's 17, so she want to live in the house for free, but please don't have no opinion about my life. But I get that because I was that person and I'm still that person. Like I tell my kids, if you handle your business, you ain't got to put nobody in your business. So I got a whole bunch of little girls that's moving and shaking how they want to move and shake because I'm handling my business. I ain't got to tell you what's going on. Now, when I taught them that, did I think it would backfire later? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was a whole bunch of my baby's going to be prepared. Yeah. My mama taught me a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need to learn before I needed to learn it.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense at 9.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff she was saying. But it makes sense. And I was being prepared for a time. Like, she prepared me. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't like the preparation, but I was being prepared. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was being prepared for who I needed to be. Regardless of her part in it, she prepared me for who I needed to be. My dad's absence prepared me for who I needed to be. Mm-hmm. Like I said, my biggest advice is be who you needed to be. Just I'm always who I needed. If you ask people at my job, I'm the hugger. I tell them Miss Shantel got hugs all day for free. People come to the lobby and just stand and do like this at the door of the desk, and I come and I give them a hug because that's our language. Sometimes people just need a hug. Sometimes people just need to know somebody absolutely cares. I was a little girl who didn't think anybody cared. Yeah. I don't even think I cared. And I used to say I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even think I cared. I just lived. I just woke up, braided hair, made some money, called somebody, got some money, whatever the case was, and just did whatever I was going to do that day. But looking back now, I absolutely know that you have to trust the process. If you're doing the work. If you're not doing the work, don't trust the process because it ain't working. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing the right thing. But if you're doing the work and you want to be better, then trust the process because it has to hurt to heal. All the scabs got to get pulled off. Like all of them. You're going to bleed. You're going to cry. Like it ain't going to feel good. Somebody else's truth is like their truth. And that's what you have to realize, that no matter how bad it hurt you, that their truth has a level of pain that you'll never understand. You get what I'm saying? Like my mom has a truth that I will never, it'll never make sense to me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I'll never get it. You get what I'm saying? Like her story, I'll never fully get because she wasn't here to tell it. Yeah. So now I have to get it third party. So get the story to get the healing, to give the grace. Yeah. Because the story is what's going to bring the grace. Like, I don't think there's anybody in this day and age who wants to lie about what happened to them. No. You get what I'm saying? Like, people have been lying about what's happened to them for a long time and hiding it and pushing it under the cover. So to be able, now we're all in a place and a space to be free, to talk about stuff we never could talk about before, because we all grew up in a what goes on in this house, stay in this house generation, because you was raised by your grandparents. That was definitely the G code. Yep. You get what I'm saying? You definitely don't talk about nothing in this house at the church, because baby, we perfect to them people. Yeah. So that is how we were raised. And so a part of our lives is, again, more is caught than taught. We don't tell the bad stuff. Baby, we learn quick that whatever going on in this house, when you walk out that door, we together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We put ourselves together. But we're in a place and space and time that we can say, I'm hurting. I don't know. I need to know. Or I need some help. I need to process this. This still bothers me 20 years later. Yeah. Therapy was so triggering to me. And I started off just with a little online I don't know this lady, so it ain't gonna have no attachment type of thing.
It's a game changer though.
But
therapy is
like, it's a game changer. It's a game changer for you. Like it's just a game changer for yourself. Like to just tell, because again, you're not gonna sit in a room and lie to you. Nope. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pay to lie to this lady.
Yeah, because we sure paying.
I'm not paying to lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not paying to lie to you. I'm paying, I don't even, and I think therapy, most people be like, I don't even know where to start. I got this and I got that. They gonna tell you where to start.
They sure is.
You just gonna sit there, lay there, whatever you gonna do, and they gonna ask you a question. They're going to do what they have been trained to do. Get you to get it out.
They gonna get it.
And trust the process. Like therapy is an investment better than education.
It is.
Like, I wish I would have known to put my daughters in therapy long time. I wish I would have known that just me not being healthy and me not being healed and me having all of the trauma that I had, put that on them. I didn't realize that there were so many pieces that I was missing that they were naturally just going to miss. You get what I'm saying? So again, you don't know what you don't know. Yep. So I wish now. So now you have kids who, you just emotional this. And do they want to go to therapy? No, because when therapy was brought up, you know, they might have did one or two, but they'll probably go as adults on their own. But me saying, hey, you need to go to therapy, or do you want to go? Like, nobody wants to talk to a therapist. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm the crazy, you know, mama crazy. Mama the person that need to go. Mama is crazy. She just talk to her own therapist. So that type of thing. But just give parents, you don't know. Tell them kids you don't know. Just don't fake it. Tell them you don't know. Tell your kids your story. Tell your kids your truth. Because some of the things that you do that they don't understand, you don't even understand your why. Stop telling kids, because I'm the adult. Answer the questions. You get what I'm saying? Answer the questions. Like, I pride myself on being able to answer my kids' questions. They're not always good questions. They're not always easy questions. But I pride myself on allowing them to ask the questions, because that's what's going to allow them to give me grace. Like, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, once they, you know what I'm saying? People have to process how they process. Just imagine just being always shut out. Because I said so. You know what I'm saying? That was bad. You know what I'm saying? And some people still raise their kids like that, and that's their way. But you're going to raise kids who don't know how to process or who don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So trust the process. I know we're trying
That's
to wrap
some great advice, though.
Trust the process.
Y'all, I don't have any final remarks. So I don't know what episode we on, as I say every episode.
Wait, I have final remarks.
You already gave the final remarks.
I know, but I have final remarks for you.
Oh, okay. Wow, wait. It's going to make me cry?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're weird.
Go ahead. I'm emotional. I'm sensitive.
So I just want to say you are doing an amazing job. I think you are on, this probably will be 6. Maybe, I think this will be 6.
Episode?
I think this will be 5.
No, this is like 8.
That many?
Yes. It's been 2 months. 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so I've watched them all. I probably have notes on more than a few of them.
She watched all of them.
No, because I look forward to watching them, because like I told you, watching the episodes is like watching you heal, because a lot of times you don't know what's going to happen. Like you said, so if you don't prepare, you don't know what's going to happen. It feels more natural. Yes, you go back and you edit certain things, but it is a natural conversation, and it's almost like healing. It's like an instant healing. You can like watch it. It's watching you evolve from the first show to the last show. It's amazing. So I want to say that you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
I want to say that you're an amazing person.
Oh, thank you.
And I look forward to the rest of our friendship. And just keep trusting this process, because although it doesn't look how you want it to look, or because you overthink everything, it's working. And I told you before, it has to work for you, and it has to be authentic to you before it's going to work for anybody else. And I think that's what you're giving. You're giving your authentic self. You're telling stories. You're being led by God to who you want to invite or what you want to talk about. And I just want to commend you for that, because not a lot of people just go off and be obedient to what's in their heart when it doesn't look like what everybody else is doing. So I thank you, and I thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, cool. All right, y'all. We're going to go and see y'all on the next episode again. I don't know what we on, but